Hello everybody, today I'm going to talk to you about how I learned hiragana, katakana, and kanji as a beginner. Stay tuned because I will talk to you about the tools and resources I use and exactly what activities I do to practice this Japanese script. Konnichiwa, watashi wa Mari desu. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mari and I love learning languages. I make videos about language learning, travel, learning Japanese specifically, and also bullet journals. So if you are interested in any of that, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. So what I'm doing with the Japanese script is that I'm learning it in a combined methodology. So I don't learn kanji, hiragana, and katakana separately, but all together as it will normally show in a Japanese sentence. I try to learn the words that are commonly written in katakana, the words that are commonly written in kanji, and so on. Of course, right now I focus heavily on hiragana because that's the one that I rely on when I don't understand or when I don't know how to read a kanji. I learn kanji and words in context, in sentences, and as I said before, in sentences not combined all of the scripts, it's if that's the normal way of writing it. First, I want to talk about the two sides of learning a script. There is the recognition part, or the input, and the output, where it's where you write it. Recognizing a kana character or a kanji is way easier than writing it down. Reading it's a visual technique, and it's something that we can do very fast when we start learning a language. So recognizing, at least for me, it's been really, I wouldn't say super easy, but it's easier than writing. So as a beginner, I'm focusing on recognizing it first and making sure that I know which character means what or how to properly read each character. Of course, everything in my level or a little bit above. To be able to recognize kana, you have to set yourself up for success. That means avoiding romanji at all costs, like no romanji at all. I personally like to learn the syllables, the characters with sound. I will just simply relate the sound to the character, which is actually what reading is. Connecting characters, visual things, to sounds that we have, or to meaning. Now, how I learned to read is based on a technique that actually my teachers used when they taught me how to read when I was a kid, and it's called the whole word technique. That's how I memorize vocabulary in absolutely any language that is out there. I recognize whole words instead of just units of characters. That's when I'm writing hiragana. Some words I can write faster than others. That's why I actually don't know every single character. For me, it's not helpful to write the chart. Like, I wrote it once and that's it, just to familiarize myself with the characters. After that one time that I wrote it, I actually just started writing words. So I started recognizing words at a time instead of just knowing all of the characters separately. I know how to use them in words. If you want to know more about the whole word technique, it's a technique that people, teachers, parents use in their kids, babies. I think it's just the smartest way to learn a script, because you're not just learning random sounds or random characters or random letters. You're actually putting them all together, and it just becomes easier for your brain to remember what character produce which sound. How I practice is based on the free recalling of words. So the way that I practice Japanese script is I don't know if it's unusual. I think everyone does it, or everyone should do it at least. What I do is I use this app called Lingo Deer, and they have like a flashcard sort of section where you practice vocabulary, and they will give you the sound and then show you the characters. So when they give me the sound, I will write it down in my notebook, and then I will click on show me the answer, and I will compare. I write all in hiragana because I don't know many kanji, so I write in hiragana, make sure that the hiragana that I wrote is correct. I do my minor mistakes. Like I said before, I did not do like 1,000 charts of me writing the same character for hiragana like over and over again. I just memorized words at a time, how they visually look, and then I repeat it. So I have minor mistakes like writing it like from the wrong side or stuff like that. Stylistic mistakes, I will say, that I should improve. So I mark them down so I make sure that I don't make the same mistake again. When I'm free recalling, before I see the answer, I try to do it without cheating, without looking at any chart, without looking at anything, just by memory, and if I don't know something, I will leave the blank space and just continue writing. So every word, every phrase, I love to have audio with it because that's what will help me recognize the script that I'm looking at. In this process, that's how I learned vocabulary, that's how I learned kanji, just like repetition, memorization. I use a lot of mnemonics in my head, so if I look a kanji, I will try to relate it to a visual image, and I will also try to learn words and phrases that mean something to me, so it's easier for me to remember these words because I can put them into practice immediately. Now let's go to the tools and resources that I use to learn hiragana and katakana. Like I mentioned before, I use Lingodeer to have some dictation and writing practice, and I love it. What I like about Lingodeer, not a sponsor by the way, but what I like about Lingodeer is that it's made for learning Asian languages, and you actually have an option. I think you have to go to like settings, language learning, and then you click on it and it will tell you like what sort of scripts you can use. You can use like combinations of like hiragana, romanji, and like kanji and stuff like that. I have mine in like Japanese version of it, so it's just kanji. It's just like how it will look without furigana, without nothing. In the beginning I used with furigana, so I select the Japanese plus hiragana or something like that. Very, very important, you have to download the hiragana keyboard. I have my keyboard, my phone keyboard is SwiftKey, and there you can just simply add the Japanese keyboard. You have two options, either to write it in romanji and it will appear in the correct script, or you can write it in hiragana, and again it will suggest you the kanji or kana that you need. I would recommend you 100% to use the hiragana keyboard. When I want to find vocabulary or kanji or anything, actually I use two things. So I have Jishu or Jisho, and there you can look up for words and just general information on how to read a kanji, how to use it. You can see the stroke order and learn how to write it. And I also have Talk About the Japanese Dictionary on my phone, and it's very similar to Jishu. It has like the same concept. You can look up for words in English or in Japanese, in hiragana, in kanji, in romanji, in kana, absolutely any script, it's gonna appear. So for kanji, I haven't mentioned this, I do have a kanji notebook, and I do practice writing kanji because there's no other way around it. That's the way you learn kanji, like you just have to write it over and over again. Like you can recognize it, like I said, fairly easier, like 10 times easier than writing it. But then if you want to learn how to write it, you just have to write it like a million times, probably. So if you want to learn how to write it, you just have to write it. There's no way around it. So I try to sit down and practice my writing once or twice a week. I hope that maybe in the future I can do it more when I have a little bit more time on my hands to do so. Okay, so polyglot tip of the week. This is my #1 tip for absolutely every language, everything that you do. It's learn languages in context. Learn vocabulary in context, learn kanji in context. It doesn't matter, you can learn like 200 words, but if you don't know how to put them together, how to use them together, then it's like you just know that. You don't know how to speak a language, but you know like 100 random words. So if you want to know how to speak a language and how to read and write and understand the language, you have to know how to use the words in context. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of this series of learning Japanese with me as a beginner. And yeah, this is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Mata ne! Onana! Bye!